Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Butternomics. I'm your host, Brandon Butler, founder and CEO of Butter ATL. And today, we got my guy
What's up, man?
in the building, fresh off the plane. Well, fresh off the.
Basically.
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 still getting used back to this air in Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? But the one, the only, Mr. Jordan Gibbs, man. Gibbs, how you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. Appreciate you having me. It's been a long time coming, so I'm excited to be here, man.
I just been waiting for you to get back in the country, dog. I didn't think he was coming back.
Yeah, I questioned it. I didn't think I was coming back for a minute.
I think y'all left somebody out there, matter of fact.
We did, and he actually came back the last day. His visa was expiring. He had to fly through Amsterdam because he couldn't catch a flight directly back here, but he couldn't stay in the country, so he had to fly to Amsterdam to get out. That's how long we stayed in SA, man.
Hey, man. Well, look, man, congratulations on everything y'all doing, man. For those that don't know, this is one part of Milk and Cookies.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Which also just did the amazing Milk and Cookies Music Fest. That was officially called in Africa too, South Africa?
Yeah.
Man, so we're going to get into that in a second, man.
Okay.
We're going to get into that in a second. But just, for those that don't know, man, tell people what Milk and Cookies is, bro.
Yeah, man. Milk and Cookies, it's a music, it started as a music festival, right? So the whole idea was, you think about milk is, obviously it's an iconic thing. Cookies are an iconic thing, but together it's one of the greatest duos you could possibly imagine in anything, right?
Yeah.
In food and sport, whatever. Milk and Cookies makes you smile, takes you to a childlike place, right? And it brings people together. And the idea for Milk and Cookies was like, how do we create a platform that's based around music that we can bring different genres of music together and kind of make our own kind of pairings. And that became Milk and Cookies. And then we wanted to be diverse. We want you to come to an experience of ours and meet a friend, and leave and be like, yo, I remember that's where I met Brandon. It was at Milk and Cookies. We had just had a couple drinks in the VIP area. Kate and I just came on. Like, that's the feeling we always want to create. So that's one part of it, which is the festival. And then we've also branched into now Milk and Cookies Music Week,
Right.
which is really adding on some more kind of edutainment components to it with the panel series, with writing camps, really kind of unpacking what the music industry is and how music kind of affects all these other industries as well. So that's it in a nutshell.
Hey, man, look, y'all built something amazing. I mean, I remember going to Milk way before we knew each other.
Yeah.
I remember I went to see Currency at one of the Milk and Cookies events. You know what I'm saying? I'm a big Currency fan, so I was just out there. And I just remember that experience was just a dope vibe. And I mean, that was years ago, man.
Yeah.
What was one of the first shows that y'all did?
As Milk and Cookie, I mean, I'll say, so the founders, we've been together since we all met at Morehouse, really, and so we've been together since 2007.
Yeah.
So our first ever show was promoting Wale at the Loft, in 2009. But I think we've had a number of, those kind of first artists that come through the market that were really great. But I think probably the one that sticks out the most is probably Kendrick Lamar in 2011. We had him at the Old Masquerade.
Yeah.
That's how I start feeling like I'm really from Atlanta.
The Old Masquerade.
I know old things now that don't exist anymore. Like the Old Masquerade where the floor used to bounce.
Yeah.
But that was right after Section 80 dropped, and we had him perform. Dom Kennedy opened up. Sahada Prince opened up. This group University opened up. And then Titty Boy came out and did a guest appearance before he was 2 Chainz. And so, but that was the first show we invested money into. And we went to school. We learned a lot of things at that show. But then also, I think a lot of the key players in the city saw that we were for real about what we were doing, and it put us on a whole nother trajectory for us to be where we are now. So that was I remember that one because it was pivotal, and me and my partner Chase were, buying pizza for Kendrick Lamar's team, and then we had a bunch of students who were working with us, and one of the guys stole a box of pizza from Kendrick's manager, and then we had to find the guy, and Kendrick's manager's like, "Yo, where's my food?" I'm like, "We already delivered it," and I'm like, "I don't even." I'm 21. I'm just figuring stuff out. So, but yeah, we went through a lot of learnings in that time frame. So,
and I mean, it's been all kind of stuff because y'all were doing EDM, hip hop, y'all were bringing all kind of vibes together.
Yeah,
it wasn't just we just doing a hip hop show or an urban show. That's how it's always kind of been, right?
Yeah. That's exactly. So when we think of Milk and Cookies, that's exactly what we kind of stand for. Is you can. We can put people together that you wouldn't expect to see. You might see Santi Gold and ASAP Rocky on a stage or whatever, right? It's these genres that you wouldn't normally think would mix, but they actually go really well together. And I think you see that it's really a lot in DJ culture now, right? Like parties like mashup, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the idea of taking things that exist separately and kind of remixing how people experience them and feel them, it gives you a whole nother, it becomes a whole nother thing on its own. Like we love that, because we all of us come from different backgrounds where I grew up in New York until I was like 17, and like the one thing about growing up in New York is like you get exposed to all kind of cultures
Yeah.
every day, whether you want to or not, right? Like you hear things, you see things, and so I think my perspective on like these other genres of music and like other cultures just like somehow is in me without even realizing it. And so when we started putting things into the world, and music's such like a spiritual thing to put into the world and like amplify, some of those things just started coming out naturally and
Mm-hmm.
being like, okay, I want people to understand that, black people, but people in general are much more alike than they really even may realize, And what better way to do that than through music, putting people on stages that we believe in and resonate with their messaging, So everything is really intentional. Like if we're putting somebody on stage, it's very intentional. If we're trying to take somebody across the world, it's very intentional, you know.
What was it like when y'all were planning that stuff? Because I mean, it sounds like intentionality of just diversity's kind of always been in it. But like, how did y'all even come together with that idea in the first place?
For
For like Milk and Cookies, just saying like we want to do something different, but we want to do it like with this again a different kind of vibe, bringing all these kind of music. Because again, y'all met each other in college, like y'all didn't grow
yeah,
up together, right? So y'all were all strangers,
yeah.
and then y'all came together. Like, what was it that brought y'all together, but also made y'all say like, yeah, we all agree with the same vision of putting a different kind of vibe out here for events and entertainment and
Yeah,
music.
yeah. I think so. When we were in school, so there's four main partners. Chase is from New York, New
Mm-hmm.
Jersey. So I knew him since we were like 15 years old.
Okay.
So we were doing teen clubs and stuff. We promoted, Joel Santana and Chris Brown and like
Dipset.
like we were like 16 years old, right? So like so I already knew who he was. I met Kevin and Greg in school, and because we had a lot of friends with other schools, so like we spent time at Emory and
Mm-hmm.
Kennesaw State and UGA and Georgia State, and we realized at that time everybody was like partying in their own silos,
Yeah.
but to similar stuff. It was like everybody's playing beer pong just in their own like they don't even know these other spaces or other kids are doing the same thing. Um, so the idea was really like how do we like show you know, our version of Atlanta, like how do we show these students that they have a lot in common? Like how can we create a place that becomes a meeting ground for everybody? And that was really the genesis of like, why we even kind of started this, started producing shows. Um, and funny, not funny, but like the Kendrick Lamar show we did was actually after a whole like we did a week long panel series called Music as a Natural Resource, and we actually partnered with the United Nations on that because they had this document they were working on that was called Music as a Natural Resource, and it was looking at how music is used in all these different pillars for like trauma survivors, for economic development, like they had five of them, and so we took each pillar and put them on a different campus in Atlanta, and then we did panels on those campuses based around their strengths. Like so, Emory we did the trauma survivors one because Emory Hospital, etc. Like Morehouse we did music for economic development because that's Morehouse is about that,
Yeah.
right? So we basically we did these panels. But we also like were promoting the show at each campus throughout the week. So that show was really important to us because it was the first time we were able to branch out throughout the city and be like, all right, we're going to all these campuses and talking about all these things we're seeing, and we're bringing it back into one space,
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, I mean that's really why that's really the ethos of everything was really about community and bringing people together and how do we do that in our way, right?
And just for the record, y'all were one of the first ones to actually bring Kendrick to Atlanta, right? Like
Yeah, yeah.
the first, like was officially y'all. Like how did that
You
all
know,
come together, man?
I can't tell because
Because
a lot of
I want to make sure y'all get the credit for putting this thing in because y'all were doing
yeah,
this for people even again. I remember Section 80. I remember all that stuff. So
yeah. I don't know if we were the first because I feel like artists were coming through Atlanta already,
yeah.
but that was a major show, and at the time that was I think it was the first show I remember. I hadn't seen him in Atlanta before, so
Mm-hmm.
and it was 2011. He was still like like we paid less than 10,000 for him at the time,
Which is
you know what I'm
crazy,
saying? Right?
right?
Because now you can't even look at the man without if you don't have 10,000 as a donation.
You know what I'm saying?
So, but yeah, it was very very early on. So I'll say it's the first. I'll say it's the first.
How did that relationship even like come together? Like,
I mean, like friends and people who believed in us, really.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna name drop on here because so Key Henderson was one of the first people to really like take us under her wing.
Shout out to Key.
Yeah, she really like she believed in us. She gave us opportunity. She helped us. She helped us book Post Malone in like 2012. Like she, so we really wouldn't have started our career in the same way without her. And she also gave us a lot of guidance and like, but she connected us with Top Dog, which is Kendrick's manager. And and she helped facilitate the deal. And like that's really how it came to happen.
Oh man, that's wild. See, it's all about these relationships, man.
Man, like the relationships are probably the biggest driver to like, because someone has to believe in you early on. It's like if you don't have a resume, you haven't done anything really yet. What are they believing in? They gotta believe in the person.
Yeah,
and that's a risk. Like if we had messed that up, that could have had a bad effect on her. Right. And so like, we appreciate her to this day.
We'll get into other stuff y'all working on, but just when you think back, like what have been some of your favorite shows or events that y'all have just done in general over the years?
Yeah. There's been a bunch of them. It's been a bunch of them, man. So SZA, we did SZA's first show for sure, 2014, and it sold out, and it surprised the agents. The agents were literally calling, trying to figure out like how this happened. But the night was just magical. Like she hit the stage and she was just like floating, like the audience is like 70% women, and all the words. I'm like, and then you meet her and she's like this beautiful person. I just remember feeling like that was a night where I was like, okay, this makes me feel like I want to give this experience to people.
Yeah.
For life, like I want to create what people are feeling tonight. That's what I want to recreate for them. So that was memorable. Post Malone was crazy because you don't really always know how diverse Atlanta is until like you do certain things, and like the audience he brought out was like just young people just wanted to rage, and it was like, and the show we did it with Meshack. So that was like a collab we did with Beer and Tacos back then, and he taught us how to scale pricing, so like we were like nervous about the show, and then he was like, nah, I've got this, we gonna do this, and the show sold out like the last day, and it was just madness outside. Like it felt like I was at South by Southwest or something, and like, and then Post came in, his flight got delayed, he got there like 2 a.m. in the morning. It was just, the whole thing was just ridiculous, and to see what Post Malone became, like has grown into, to be a part of like that moment in Atlanta for his first show in Atlanta was like, that was just like I can't even put into words really, like just how the energy is, really the energy of the space. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
Those two, and then not to go on forever on this topic, but the show we did with Render for K Tronada in 2023 on the Beltline.
I was there. I remember that one.
Yeah, that was really special because that was a dream we had for a long, long time, and we had another partner before who was one of our investing partners, and we had this like we wanted to do something on the Beltline for the longest, and we kept just feeling like we were hitting roadblocks, and we ended up splitting from that partner, and essentially bought ourselves out of our existing contract, and within like 6 months we were doing this show on the Beltline that we've been dreaming about for like 4 years. So for us, it really showed us like, you can actually do, like there's really no ceiling here, like if we're focused on it, like. And I think the way that production came together, all the opening DJs were Atlanta based.
Yeah.
They all captured the same the same feeling that K Tronada captured. Everybody was dancing. It was diverse. I mean, I think it was the biggest show that had been on the Beltline, or the first international act on the Beltline. In that space, the CEO of the Beltline came. People were tailgating at the building.
They were on top of the parking deck, and
they
all
shut down the intersector.
Kids.
Yeah, bro. Everybody, like, it was like everybody was just having a good time in Atlanta, and I was like, this is the Atlanta like that I love to see, like this.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? There was no incidents, nothing, like, and it was just an incredible night. So I think it's all about the energy for me, man. It really is. But yeah, those three like stuck out. Yeah, to this day.
Everybody talks about, wanting to do events and festivals and all that stuff, but just in general, like, what's one part of the business side that more people you think need to understand when it comes to doing these kind of events, whether it's a smaller venue or it's now festivals like y'all are doing? Like, what part of the business do you think kind of people overlook or don't fully understand?
All of it. to be honest, like, because there's so many parts. Like if I decided I wanted to go to Wall Street out of Morehouse, right? There was a very clear path for me to go there, right?
Yeah.
I do these internships. I get recommendations from these professors. I get an opportunity. I just have to show out. For the concert space, it's not clear what to do. You kind of like have to learn. And people who like to bring people together by nature and don't know how to reform it usually end up becoming like promoters or party promoters, right? Because that's what you're doing. You're taking people out of their day in day out life and you're bringing them to a space where they have a great time for 4 hours. Then they go home and go deal with whatever they got to deal with. Um, for us to try to like take that and then like how do we elevate this to the next level? um we kind of we had to create a blueprint, and which is why it was great to work under Center Stage and the Loft and the Masquerade, and we started consulting for them. And then they introduced us to Jay Carter, and we interned under Jay Carter for a couple of years. So we started learning how these pieces work, and you realize it's a massive amount of departments. Like like if you're building something from scratch, you literally need, your operations team has to be, people know how to construct a stage. You have to understand how many porta potties you need, how many security you need. Like there's permitting things you have to go through the city that you have to understand. So you have to have relationships in the city now, right?
Yeah.
It's like, how are you gonna pay for this thing? Well, you need sponsorship, but like, who's gonna teach you sponsorships? And then you have to go and get somebody who understands how to work with brands, and then you really realize sponsorship is really, it's not about the brand; it's really about the person inside the building. So you have to have a relationship with somebody who works there, to be able to for them to vouch for you again, right? So like, it's just like there's a lot of moving parts, and um you have to be able to build a team, and you have to be able to like uh trust other people on your team to also be able to like know what they're doing, because yeah, it's a lot of moving parts, I say. And I think people just see the end result, which is what they're supposed to see, which is they're just having a blast, and they're having a great time. Like that's, if you feel like that, then we've done all the other components properly.
Mm-hmm.
The only time something's off is if like someone's complaining about something, or there's a bathroom or whatever. That then you're like, all right, there's been a break. There's been a missing link in the chain of command here.
Yeah, man. Now, look, I just got done producing this 404-day parade. I think it's a lot of the same things, right? Like, you don't
Not,
know.
not only that, you did 404-day parade. You did 404-day block party. You did
We did a
the
couple
Creative
of
Summit.
things.
Yeah, like you did like 9 events, bro. So
But like, it's to your point, man. It's like, yeah, you don't. There's no playbook to go figure out how to do a parade, right?
there's
Like,
no
I
playbook.
literally had this idea last year, and was like,
Right,
okay, what do we do? And it was just figuring it out. It was like, okay, well, who's done a parade before? It was like,
right,
okay, well, ATL Pride's done one. Like, who do we know over there? Okay, come talk to them, and go talk to this
literally.
person. And then how do you figure out the permits? And we need porta potties now. And
Right,
like, oh, we did all this, but now we got to find somewhere to stage everybody. We need
right,
somewhere to house,
right,
3,000 people because parents are dropping off their kids. Like, there's no
right.
playbook for this stuff. And you kind of go through it, and you're like, okay, like, and that's why I told everybody, even we were doing it, was like, look, let's just get the first one done.
Right.
You know what I mean? I said we can always make it complicated.
Right.
Because everybody was like, oh, you're going to have Macy's? I said, we can always make this more complicated, I
Right.
promise. But right now,
Right.
my main focus is getting 3,000
Yeah.
people to walk from point A to point B safely.
Right. And that's it.
And that's it. And it's the same thing, right?
They all belong to you at that time.
Yeah.
You're responsible for all their safety.
Right. And,
Yeah.
and so it's the same thing, right? It's like, yeah, how do we do this thing? It's no playbook. You just got to figure it out.
Yep.
And then you learn, and then you build more into it. And again, I
Yep.
think people try to oversimplify because to your point, they see events.
Yeah.
They see activations. They're like, oh, yeah, we just need a sponsor. It's like, no, bro.
Yeah.
You need a whole lot more than just a sponsor to pull some of this stuff off. You know what I'm saying?
100%. And I probably say the timing of it all is probably the biggest thing people don't realize. Like,
Yeah.
it takes time to get sponsors. It takes
Right.
time to get the permits. Like the city has to literally adjust their plans for you to have a parade.
Yeah.
Right? It's like when we were doing the festival on the Beltlines, like the neighbors over there literally had to change. Like they had to allow us to be
Yeah.
able to, because we had to park cars. We needed like fire lanes and stuff. Like, Yeah, so all that stuff takes a lot of time and a lot of planning and a lot of attention to detail and the right team. Because I don't have attention to detail all the time. Like I have big ideas, but like I need someone who can march it forward.
That's what a team is for, though. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the same thing. Like I've learned that on myself. It's like, look, I got the ideas, but I need people that are hands on the ground, boots on the ground that can get in. I mean, even with the event we just did last night, it was like I need people that can help watch my back and make sure this thing goes. And like, who's gonna go get this person, or who's gonna do this, and who's gonna do that? Like it's like I got the idea.
Right.
It's like we got the money for it, but like, what we gonna do?
Who gonna do
it? Who's picking up the talent when they get here? It's like, oh yeah, you gotta think about that stuff too.
They still there for it,
right? But those are all the different moving pieces, man. Like when it comes to making something dope, like how do you kind of manage? Like, how do y'all even like ideate just around like making something dope? Like, again, like you're like, all right, I want to do this artist, I want to do this thing, but you also got to even like balance in like with sponsors and partners and stuff for one. Like, how do y'all kind of keep that balance to where, look, this is still going to be good, but we need to get partners and sponsors involved, and like y'all can't water this down, so y'all got to trust us to make sure this comes together.
Yeah, I mean, we come with creative ideas all the time. Like that's the one thing I think our team does. We get on the phone. We talk, and the next thing you know, we got a whole concept. And we're like, wait a minute, this is not even what we started on. Like,
oh, look, I already know what happens when Greg gets going.
and half the time it's Greg.
I already know what happens when he gets going.
Greg will just hear something. I'll say something, Greg will just hear it, and he'll just flip it into a whole other thing. And now we got a podcast concept. I'm like, bro, what? like, literally. And that's actually a lot. That's when we feel like we're our most pure. We're just having those conversations, you know? And then, like, we just literally, we're learning how to now, like, take these ideas, park them, but then also be able to like flesh them out later on, you know. What was the question again?
No, I'm just saying, like, how do y'all balance like you again coming up with like amazing idea, an amazing event, but also just making sure that your sponsors feel good and feeling like they're not like watering the idea down.
Yeah. So I'm very clear about understanding what the KPIs are for the sponsor, right? And I'm also very clear about aligning with the right sponsors. So like, I will say no to a sponsor that doesn't align with our values. And I have no problem saying it. I've done it before. So the main thing what I've realized is like brands want to attach themselves to the cool thing or the thing that's like pushing the culture forward or whatever their KPIs, they want to be attached to the thing that's driving that thing forward. So once I understand like what a brand is looking for, it's easy to then I can line it up and make sure that I find the place that we both link. You know, I think that's part of my superpower is finding that part. Like, where is the synergy between all these things, you know? But like I've seen it with brands a lot. Like now they want, like they'll sponsor events. What leads culture is not the brands, right? The brands are kind of the third tier, really. It's like the person who does the thing, whatever it is, right? They create the concept, they push it out there in the world. You know, they're taking a leap of faith, and a lot of times they're not going to get support at first. But once it goes well, they have the recaps, social media, all that stuff's going. When they do the second one, now somebody from the brand saw that and was like, oh, wait, we're trying to do this. Wait, no, they're doing it already, right? Yeah. So what ends up happening is you kind of have to take a leap of faith on yourself and be the cultural leader, be the thought leader, and then the brands come behind you. And then they're more open to, following or molding themselves to fit your vision because they see something already that they want to be a part of. And they may not know what they want to be a part of it yet until they see it, you know?
I think that's the part that people miss, man. Like, even again, a lot of stuff that we do, I tell people, like, if you really want to get it done, you got to do it yourself first.
Got to do it.
Like, there's this whole thing I think that people really miss out on where it's like, yeah, I got this idea, and I just need a sponsor to make it happen. And it's like, bro, there's a version of this you can do probably without a sponsor. Right. But what you don't understand is that by you doing it first, you now have the leverage.
Right.
Like you have the example, like, and it's so much easier to get people involved. Like when you've done something. And I say this, I mean, I know it happens everywhere, but I even say it in Atlanta. I say Atlanta's a very FOMO city. Like again, like talking about this
1,000%.
Yeah, it's like, bro, talking about this parade we did. It's like I literally shouted from every platform I could that we were gonna do this parade, and I knew it was not gonna reach everybody.
Right.
And I knew people were gonna be like, oh man, I didn't even hear about it. But you know what? I knew that once we did it, that next year, absolutely, people are going to be like, oh, yeah, like I know about it this time, but I'm telling people, like, you got to do the thing first. And that's how you maintain the leverage. That's how you put yourself in a better position to negotiate. If you can't do something because you can't go find a bunch of an unlimited budget. Like anybody can do anything with an unlimited budget.
Right.
But if you tell them you got to go find $100,000 just to make something happen, like there's not another version of this.
Yeah, it might not be the right thing.
Yeah, like right, like bro, even the Creators of Color event, it was like, bro, that was something I wanted to do. I just did it. Last year, and I paid for it out of pocket, and now look what it's grown into in just a year. You know what I mean? And like I think again, it's the same thing with you all. It's like you got to do the thing first.
Yeah.
And you got to put it out into the world because that's how you maintain the leverage. That's how you can actually control what it turns into versus, needing all these things. And yeah, it's nice when you get enough, leeway, you get enough relationships, then you can actually work with brands and work with people and say, look, I had another idea.
Right.
Let's build this together.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, like, yeah, man, and I think people really miss that part of the game, bro.
Yeah. I would simplify it down. Whatever it is, like I would dumb it down to the simplest form that we can do.
Yeah.
Just to do it, because then you have data, then you have people who vouch for you, then people that went through the experience, and you're trying to build a community, right? So you actually don't need everyone there for everything or even the first thing. Like you want the people who are gonna support you and want to be there for that, because then those people champion whatever you do 10x more than somebody who just pulled up, and doesn't really care about whatever's going on, and like, so you can start small and then kind of like keep building it up, and I think that's also the best way to just grow an organic community. Like all this stuff is about community these days. People go online, they enter whatever they follow is a community, right? Like whatever page you follow, there's 20 other people following it or 2,000 people following it. Yeah. Either way, y'all tap it in for a reason. There's something that unites you about whatever this content is coming out. That's a community. You know what I mean? Like, so we're building communities, whether they're physical or digital. We're building communities.
Oh man. Now speaking of building, tell me about Milk and Cookies Music Week, man. Like, how did that come together?
Okay.
Because that was an amazing experience too.
Yeah, for sure. How did it come together? It was really our response to. I feel like Atlanta needed a South by Southwest for itself, and there were like there were other events that were kind of like that, and some of them kind of through COVID or whatever other reasons, like they just don't really exist in the same way. So the idea was like, how do we built up all these relationships, and that's the beautiful thing about Atlanta too, right? Like people I was just partying with a decade ago, or like or just like going to networking events or going to this brand thing, whatever it is. A lot of these people ended up going on their own arcs and like managing talent or working at this brand or like, becoming lawyers or X, Y, and Z, which makes it easier now to like kind of tap in. Like now where we are, these are still our network, and they know who we were, 10 years ago. So what I realized is like, what would young me want? Or what would young me out of Morehouse, who has no blueprint to produce concerts or festivals, like how would I help this person? And I realized the people I was looking up to then, fast forward now, are my peers, and my friends. So we're like, how do we bridge that knowledge gap? Like, so how do we make this more purpose driven beyond the festival and the concert and the fun stuff? Like, how are we leaving a mark and legacy, in Atlanta? And so the idea was literally, let's put together this week of programming where we have the panels are focused on really music and AI, but then we branched it into like, well, how do labels use this, to find new talent, like, or find new audiences? How is it being used in like education, like Georgia State as a whole, building dedicated to creatives and music, and they're using AI, power tools. Microsoft has initiatives. Like all these people have initiatives. So like, how do we wrap our programming around music and AI, and then bring in people who are already high level executives to come speak to students who are just interested or just trying to figure out, what am I doing in life? So that was the whole thought behind it. And we did a music tech house. We took over Blueprint Group Studio. Literally, it was like a 3-story building. The bottom floor we had a couple food trucks and like Fuse Positives out there, and then the second floor was like usually where their offices are. We transformed that entire space into a into really a studio, for the most part. And so much so that Cortez, one of the founders of Blueprint, walked into his own space and was like, "Whoa!" So he said, "Y'all did all this? Like, who's behind this?" And so we had the panels there, and then on the roof, and then the next floor we had like kind of lounge area with some bar, kind of just like a reprieve. And then the top floor outside we set up like a almost like a tiny desk kind of setup where we had a bunch of artists come in from Canada, from Toronto, and some artists from here, and we allowed them to perform on the rooftop. So literally, it was like a music tech house that was going on, and in between the panels, we had these performances, and then once they were done, next panel started, etc. Yeah, we built it into into a place where we made it free for students. So we partnered with LVRN also. They were a huge partner in what we were doing. And they have a couple student-led organizations, so we let all their students come in free. All the kids who came from Toronto came free. Everything was RSVP, everything was free. So it's really more so who wants this knowledge, versus like how we monetizing this piece of it,
Yeah.
And so that's really what the Music Week became about. And then we did writing camps. We rented out Childish Major Studio. We had artists from Atlanta and Canada join, be part of it. Steve-O and Juju from United Masters, they came in. They were there for the sessions. Shout out to Steve-O running for office now.
Yeah, man. Steve-O running for office.
Had to drop him in there real quick.
Juju still trying to run. He ain't win that championship this year, the softball game.
Oh yeah, I heard that got competitive, man. I heard that got crazy.
It get crazy every year. Them the homies though, man.
Yeah. But yeah, that was the idea. It's like, all right, how do we just do something that's a little bit more purpose driven beyond the festival, and then still needing the festival piece of it, because that's what gets people excited, and like people want that moment, So so it was a combination of both things.
Oh, that's dope, man. And now.
So then we liked that model so much, we were like, all right, let's take this over to South Africa, because we've been traveling back and forth there for 4 years. And it didn't start we started because Kevin, my other partner, he wanted to go for his birthday, and our accountant lives out there, and then now our publicist lives in Joburg also. So we had people out there, and so we just went on vibes initially, and then we realized the vibes matched our vibes a lot. Like the sounds of Kaytranada, the selections, like those, the everyday people sound like they appreciate it out there in the same way that we kind of appreciated it too. So we were like, what if we do the Music Week, in South Africa in December, January? It's their festive season. It's their summertime. It's very cold on this side of the world. I'm like, I could do 2 summers. That sounds
a good
like a vibe to me.
Yeah.
And so, and so we also started talking about Kaytranada, and that's somebody we worked with in 2016, worked with at the Render Fest.
Yeah.
And so his team had a lot of faith in us. And he hadn't headlined a show out there. He did Afropunk, I think, a few years ago, but he hadn't headlined his own. And so, he trusted us to bring him out there. We built stages in Cape Town and Joburg. But that became that was the festival moment, And then that sold out. Literally, it sold out in 6 hours. It broke the ticketing platform's website in South Africa. No, it was insane, bro. Yeah, all the media outlets were covering it. We had 281 million media impressions from our PR campaign. It was crazy. And we're like, oh, this they like this the way we like this. Maybe even more than we like this. So it felt like we were kind of going in the right direction, as people, as men, as our brand, But we were like, we don't want to just come in here and just do the show, right? Because then there's a bunch of shows. They got a lot of stuff going on. They got all kind of festivals, Hey Neighbor and Rock the Daisy. They got stuff going on there. So we were like, well, what do we do on top of this? So we were like, all right, well, let's do this Dot Connected panel series. And we had Dallas Austin call in. We had one of the executives from Empire Africa, Sony Africa, a lawyer who used to work with Amazon Music. We had some really heavy hitters. This artist Zakes, who has a nonprofit out there too. He spoke. So we were really intentional. We actually partnered with Craig on that. That's where me and Craig really started locking in. That was the first thing we did together. And he programmed 80%, 85% of the panelists. Even to the point we had people who were out there just on vacation who were we told them what we were doing. We told them it was free to, whoever wanted to come, whether it was kids, students, young professionals, whatever. And people were on vacation were like, I'll dedicate my time to come sit here for 2 hours and be a part of this thing. And our other boy, Kev Boyke, I gotta shout him out. He works with Tyler's team.
Yeah.
And we were having a great time out there, and he still made it, and still dropping knowledge, and I think it was really exciting for people to see someone from Tyler's team speaking directly to them in the country, And so So anyway, we saw how we wanted to create something impactful that could start to leave more of a legacy. The plan was also to do writing camps. We couldn't get the funding for it, so we just scratched that part because we're not doing anything that's
Mm-hmm.
it goes back to like dumbing stuff down. And so but yeah, so we did those really as the two main components, and some other parties. We did a local merch collab with a brand out there called Broke Boys, and that was really just the genesis of it. So it was like the two panels, one in Cape Town, one in South Africa. We did one in Cape Town, one in Joburg, the after parties and the festival with Kate Trinata as the starting blocks. So next year we're looking to like do that, replicate that again, and just kind of keep expanding it out, and hopefully grows more legs and becomes a bigger and bigger thing and an annual staple.
Man, doing something in a whole other continent, like I'm sure that just brought on some different challenges. Like even all the stuff you've learned out here doing it, right?
Yeah.
Like there's just it's a whole new beast you got to kind of go down, right? Like
yeah, facts.
like it's like one thing to do something downtown Atlanta. Like I'm doing something in a whole other country with people from different from a different continent. There's I'm sure there's just cultural differences, all that kind of stuff. Like how important was for y'all to kind of have like boots on the ground out there to help y'all pull this thing off?
Massively important.
Yeah.
We actually couldn't have done it without having a team out there. Most of our team was actually based in SA. We flew in, I want to say like maybe 8 or so people from our team here, but the majority of the work was done in partnership with our South African partners.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because all the details you have to go through here, you have to know how it works. You have to know the people. Like you have to know how to get permits done. Like those are things we couldn't have tried to do ourselves. It literally just would never happen. Like it wouldn't have got off the ground.
So I'm gonna bring all this full circle as we come to a close. A lot of times people talk about the Black college experience, and that's I think a nice way of saying shit is crazy sometimes at HBCU trying to get stuff done. I personally I didn't graduate. I did go to Morehouse, so I knew.
I appreciate you, man.
I understand. People always tell me I'm the most successful Morehouse dropout they've ever met. I'm like,
it's a few, bro.
It's a few.
Like Metro Boomin.
Yeah, it's a lot of folks did good. You know what I'm saying? But I always tell people like what I think. The Black college experience, especially there, right, was like you had to figure out how to get stuff done. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like they kind of like built that into it a little bit, like, because I'm like, it should. Because I remember when I went to Georgia Southern, I'm like, man, this shit is easy. like I didn't have to go do the stuff the hoops I was jumping.
Like, why y'all telling me I'm staying in the same dorm as MLK? why have we renovated?
Right? Why is this?
Why is this a calling card?
Is that his handwriting on the wall right there? Like, but I feel like But one thing I can definitely appreciate though about that experience is it teaches you how to get things done, teach you how to be gritty. Yeah. Teach you how to like deal with adversity, and I just feel like with all the things you got going on, you know what I'm saying? Like that muscle kind of got start getting built at Morehouse. You know what I mean?
1,000%.
And just like understanding, like, because again, if not, man, there's a million ways you could have things you could have ran into. Said, all right, this is too hard or this is too difficult. But I don't know. I just feel like that's what all people take away from that Black college experience.
Yeah, 1,000%. Morehouse teaches you how to figure something out. Like. Financial aid, whatever. they gonna test you. You gonna figure it out, or you not gonna figure it out.
Right.
And the school goes on, right?
Right.
But I do appreciate that. Like to this day, like I wouldn't have been the same person if I didn't go to Morehouse, without a question. And like my ability to relate to people and understand, how things work, see things and problem solve, came from Morehouse, from the classroom and from outside the classroom. So I definitely appreciate that. And I think now, like to your point, like you're like, I just want to do a parade, right? You figured it out. I just want to do this, this creatives program. You just figured it out. So this past year in Atlanta for the Music Week and in South Africa, we were literally figuring it out. Like that was, both of those were like, were betas, like, and so now we have a lot more data, a lot more people behind us, and so we're announcing Music Week Atlanta, the top of May. Okay. And so it's going to be the same week again, June 10th through the 15th. And we have some really exciting stuff coming in. And we're able to start tying what we're doing in South Africa and Atlanta together a little bit more now. So coming out of the festival and the Music Week programming, we made a lot of relationships. We made a relationship with a young woman named Bukle, who's a diplomat for South Africa and focuses on sports, arts, and culture for the AU. we're doing spending a lot of time working with her. The tourism boards for I'm about to mess this up. So if anybody sees in South Africa, I'm doing my best. All right, Gauteng Tourism, which covers Joburg and a couple other areas. Talking to Cape Town's tourism board, SA Tourism overall. So like we're now figuring out because you know we had a really nice impact. We're now figuring out how do we help export or be a partner on this side of exporting South African culture here. So we're gonna look to do like a Taste of South Africa experience during the Music Week in Atlanta, and like let people kind of sign up and like see a little bit of what we see, and then hopefully they want to then come to the continent with us when we go back in December, January. And so we're putting together like the packages and the experience through our eyes, in partnership with those boards on that side, to make sure it's like a really just cohesive experience, So I'm excited for how we keep going forward with it. And we talked to the mayor's office and like, Andre gave us an endorsement for what we were doing in South Africa last year. And so, I think there's a lot of pieces here that are connecting. And the World Cup's coming up. Like there's just all these like global things that are happening. And I think Milk and Cookies, we want to stand for like the connectivity still. Now it's just more global, but it's still the same place we started from. Like how do we connect people and communities?
Oh, man. Well, look, man, y'all are killing it, man. Congratulations to you and the whole team.
Appreciate it, man.
Yo, y'all been, as they say, A1 since day one, man. You know what I'm saying? Like all the way back, like we were talking about the other day. It's like, man, we was up here. First time we met was at a Hawks event. Man. You know what I'm saying? Now look at us.
that was so full circle yesterday, man. Because like, literally. So I used to work for the Hawks. For whoever's listening doesn't know that, and so first of all, the years at the Hawks was fire, right? They just built State Farm Arena. Trae Young got drafted that year. Yeah. Killer Mike opened a barbershop. I got that Future before him at halftime. Like it was like for the opening of the arena, it was craziness. But that year, I was working under Janet Smith. I was working with Melissa Proctor, Narcissus, the whole PR marketing teams. And I remember Melissa was like, "You gotta meet this dude Brandon. He's starting this thing up called Butter ATL. It's super cool." I was looking at the content. I'm seeing my friends and like they're dripped in yellow and stuff. Like, what's going on here? And so we finally like got to meet, and it was in the boardroom. I think it was on the 19th floor of the Hawks building. And I was like, "Yo, this dude is cool." I was like, I can't tell him that now. I'm a little lame, but I'm like, in my mind, I was like, "This dude, all right, I can rock with him." And so to see the program we did, I think it was Valentine's Day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that was the first butter in Hawks collab, right?
First collab we did, yeah.
Yeah, so that was crazy. So to see what you were doing yesterday and to be on the court speaking, I was like, I need to get my photo ASAP, bro. I need the first photo here because they don't even know, So
I think I got it. I think I got it. I think it's a photo of all to the swag shop. I think I got it somewhere.
Oh, that's crazy.
I got it. I got to dig it up, man.
Okay. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, but very proud of you, man. That was incredible.
Hey, man. Well, you too, man. Again, y'all have expanded. Congratulations. Much success to you and the team.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be out there, man. Look, I'm saying it right now. I'm getting my stuff together, man. I'm going out there. I might not come back, but I'm going.
I might not come back, man. And Craig King might not come back. I'm gonna shout out Craig because Craig's been so instrumental in everything, man. But he's part of the dream team, and so if you start seeing Atlanta looking a little smaller. It's because we're gone. Because we're 18 hours away. That's why.
Right. Well, yo, Gibbs, man, appreciate you pulling up, man. Last time, man. Let the people know where they can find out more about Milk and Cookies and support y'all and stuff.
Yeah. Our Instagram handle is the best way to do it. It's Milk Cookies Fest. That's MILK Cookies COOKIES Fest FEST. That's our Instagram handle, and then my personal one is In Gibbs We Trust. INGIBBS WETRUST. In Gibbs We Trust.
Hey, man. And yes, all right. In Gibbs we do trust, man. Appreciate you pulling up on the pod, man. And with that,
man,
we out.
Let's go.